the foundation of my business. And the way that my business came about 13 and a half years ago was I have very severe fibromyalgia and myofascial pain syndrome. And when I was in my 40s, I was disabled. I couldn't drive, I couldn't work, I couldn't think, I couldn't remember things. I had a hard time doing everything. And I was in bed about 18 to 20 hours a day. And we've got 6 kids. I couldn't take care of our kids, and it was just not a good way to be. And I'd spent decades trying to figure out, A, what was wrong with me. And a lot of doctors told me it was in my head. One neurologist told me that as soon as I got in touch with my spiritual side, that I would be better. You don't want to know what I told him because I wasn't happy. Nobody could make me well. You know, certain things, when I did natural things, certain things made me better, but I wanted to be well. So my goal was to find it. And when I was detoxifying myself on the inside, I had already tried doing my Erin Brockovich stuff. I tried my environment. I had air purifiers. I had water purifiers. I did all of that stuff already, and that helped. It made me better, but I wasn't well. And so when I found the nutritional supplementation that I started using, and I cleansed and replenished my body, that's what gave me my life back. So now I'm almost 60 and I can run circles around most 25-year-old kids, and that's kind of the way I choose to be. So my goal when I started this business was just a passion. It was, I need to tell people, because there's so many people like me that feel absolutely totally hopeless. You know, there's nobody that can make them well, and they're spending a fortune trying to get better, and a lot of times they just get worse. So for the first 2 years that I opened this place, my husband's chiropractor here, for those of you that didn't hear that. We've been here 30 years, and but for the first 2 years, I locked myself in that little glass box right there, and I told people for free about toxicity and ways to try to detoxify everybody. And when they didn't want the one solution that I had, I started striking out, and that's not what I set out to do. I didn't like not being able to help half of the people that came in. And I used to take it really personally when they wouldn't let me, the Almighty, make them better. You know, and my husband finally said, babe, because I used to tell him, I was like, what did I not tell them? What did I not say to make them see that they can truly be well again? What did I not do? And he said, it's not your fault. He said, they have free choice, and they just chose not to do what you're telling them to do. So give yourself a break, you know. And when I took all of that off of my shoulders, everything got a lot lighter, and it was a lot easier for me. But I started having groups of people that I needed to find other solutions for so I could help them. And I categorized the people that I was seeing into 4 categories. My triers were like people that were like me, that were really sick, had really bad issues, and they were willing to try anything. And they would try. Sometimes they'd do great, and sometimes they'd try for a couple of days and say, no, the miracle didn't switch, you know, and so they would stop. But if they tried and they did the program that I was telling them, they did well, and they got well. Lifers, me, we're a no-brainer. We're just good to go. We knew that we are better off doing what I was saying to do than without it. Then I started, my batting average started getting worse, and that's what brought everything else here. I had my fraidy cats, people that were a lot like me, that were super, super sensitive to everything, that were not willing to put anything in their mouth. They were like, nope, sorry, I'm allergic, I'm sensitive, I'm not, no way, it's not happening. And so since I was promoting nutritional and supplemental solutions, that kind of struck out right there. And I don't like, I'm, once you guys know me, I'm just a go-getter from, just go. And so I was striking out, and I was like, okay, didn't like that. And then the last group of people are the ones that made the spa portion of alternatives in healthcare detox therapy, spa, come in. My people that came in and said, everything you're telling me sounds great, makes a lot of sense, but. And I was like, but what? And they were like, I'm lazy. I'll never do what you're telling me. You got a pill? You got a machine? I'll do that. I'll pay you to do that, but I won't do anything on my own. And I'm like, no, kind of takes some kind of effort, you know? And they were like, yeah, okay, well, when you find the magic bullet, let me know, you know? So all of a sudden I was 50-50 with people that I could help and people that I wouldn't. So that's when I opened up the spa portion of the business and stopped locking myself in that room and offering other solutions that took hands-on kind of things. So today, I'll give you guys a menu of all of the things that we do, and that's for another meeting, okay? So for today, I just want to talk about toxicity in itself and a few different ways. I have some handouts to take with you, have some really good recipes and stuff that I have to give out to you that you can take home. And let me ask anybody, does anybody have anything planned, like right after this? Do I need to stay on the hour for this? No? Okay, good. So, you know, one of the things that I want everybody to realize is what I was saying before. You don't have to see your air or see your water or, you know, see an explosion or be so stressed out and freaked out that your head wants to blow up to be toxic, okay? So we all know in this day and age, we all know, especially you guys that are hooked up with natural grocers and stuff like that, that's the place to be. That's the place to eat, you know. You don't want to eat at McDonald's, you don't want to eat at those places because you're just killing yourself. You're making them rich and killing yourself in the meantime. So obviously your food is a key element to being able to stay healthy. As Tomomi puts it so graciously on all of my social media, she calls these my 6 pillars of health. I believe that if you do these 6 things, that you can't be chronically ill, and if you are, you can get yourself better. Maybe too late to make yourself well, depending on where you are, but you can make yourself better. So the first thing we're going to talk about is cleansing out the body and detoxifying the body. We all have a lot of years that we can build things up in. If you don't do something to get rid of it, it's going to stay there, okay? So cleansing the body, number 1. Number 2, replenishing the body with good food that is absorbable and your body knows what to do with it. It's not full of plastic, it's not full, margarine. Margarine is full of plastic. Did you ever notice that you leave margarine out on the table outside, the flies won't even go on it? It's not food. They won't eat it. They don't like it. Your dog won't eat it because they smell it and they're like, ugh. They're smarter than we are. They know, okay, that's not even real. Don't even go there with that. You know, and people don't know it. Anybody eat Doritos? Good. If you do, my son used to love them, and he was giving them to his 4-year-old. And I was like, dude, do you know what's in that? And he said, no, but they're good. And one day he watched a video on Doritos. And he found out that the little red flecks that are on Doritos that make it the hot stuff, it's actually the same thing that they put in flame retardants for pajamas and stuff like that. So Doritos are full of flame retardants. Yay, Frito-Lay really wants that information out there, you know. So, you know, just things like that. I went to a seminar about 10 years ago for a nutritional company that I promote their products. and there was, hi, come on in. You can grab a seat. I'm Debbie. Hi, Diane. Nice to meet you. We went to a seminar, and there were about 10,000 people there that were all kind of like-minded like us, and we wanted to go change the world. And it was in January in LA, and long story short, we had snow here in Tucson. In LA, they were laughing at us because in Michigan and Chicago and everything else, they had feet of snow. And those people were getting on a plane and going home. Well, Tucson doesn't have de-icers, and they don't know how to get snow off of a runway, so we were stuck in LA because of 2 inches of snow. People in the airport thought that was funny. I didn't think it was funny. So the people that were there with our group, we all kind of congregated together, but there were a few people that were coming back that weren't in our group, and they happened to be morticianists. Okay? The guy was a mortician for 30 years. And I had read a study that said that their job has changed dramatically because of all of the preservatives in food. And they said that, it's kind of gross, but they said that that is absolutely correct, that bodies they have a harder time telling when someone has died, especially if it's, an older person that's by themselves and has been left alone for a while, because bodies don't rot the way they used to. The time frame is off because of all of the preservatives in our food. So he said that they're getting into black dead spots in dead bodies, but black spots where there was no blood flow going through muscles. So a lot of people like me that have fibromyalgia and things like that, that may be a reason why we have pain, because there's no blood flow going through there and there's dead tissue in there. So he said that over the 30 years that he had been doing that job, that it had definitely changed. And it was because his only reasoning for it was because of the amount of preservatives in what we eat and drink. And so he was very happy to see that there was 10,000 of us there trying to go change everything. But he said they didn't even use as much embalming fluid and stuff as they used to because of all of this stuff. So I'm kind of one of the biggest people out there of trying to don't eat that. If I could close down that store right there, I'd be a happy girl. If I could close down Starbucks, I don't want to because you guys see my sign when you're sitting there for coffee, and so that people come in. But my goal is to at least educate everyone. If you're not a vegan and you're not, you're just not totally fanatical about food, which I'm not. Okay, there are certain things that I can't eat because I know they make me sick, so I don't eat those. But my solution to things is, if you want to, don't toxify yourself on purpose. Don't live at McDonald's, and none of you guys look like you do, so that's a good thing. But don't live there. Don't eat, drink, and be merry. Okay, but watch what you're doing on a normal basis. And so cleansing and replenishing the body are my first 2 lines of defense with keeping yourself healthy. Okay. The next thing that's on my 6 pillars is to heat the body up. And I love far infrared. We have far infrared here in all forms. And it's great for pain management, and it's great for detoxifying. And right now they're also doing studies that's showing that people are starting to evolve, and our normal body temperature of 98.6 is starting to drop. And that's acceptable now. If you go to the doctors now, or you go to the hospital and you have a body temperature of 97.2, they'll say, oh, you're good. You're good. Mine's down to 96.4. So just like a car, your body is very electrical and it's very mechanical. And you wouldn't even think about taking a car out in Michigan in February and just trying to pull it out of the driveway and try to drive it. It's gonna chutter and sputter and chug and all kinds of things until all of the juices and stuff in there heat up. The battery gets up to its full charge. And people know that about a car, but they don't know that about themselves. So Dr. Wilson is a man that came up, it's called Wilson syndrome, guess why? But Wilson syndrome is about people that have very low body temperatures. And they think it's a thyroid thing, but they don't know really how to fix it yet. They can't bring everybody's temperature up. Mine's been low forever, always. My blood pressure's low, everything is low, even though I'm hyper. So they can't figure that out either. But, you know, it's heating the body up gives you back one of your line of defenses. You know, when your body is really sick and it wants to fight something off, what does it do? It heats up, gives you a fever. So for the norm, I like to make sure that people's core body temperature raises up a little bit, okay? So cleanse, replenish, heat. Alkalize the body, all right? If you're here as one of my clients, you will always have alkaline water. We have a machine in the back that produces it. And besides hydrating you, the machine that we have has the capability of changing the molecular structure of the water, and the molecules are actually smaller than regular water is, so your cells can absorb it because it's a smaller particle. So alkalize the body, and cancer, dementia, diabetes, all of those things can't live in an alkaline environment. So you can alkalize the body by drinking alkaline water, by exercising, by drinking, by eating the right kinds of foods, green foods and stuff like that. So great ways to alkalize the body. So cleanse, replenish, heat, alkalize the body. You gotta de-stress the body because stress will kill you. And you guys all know there's a million different ways to do that. And I'm all for like trips to Cancun, and it's really relaxing for me, so that works for me. And then the last thing is to keep your body structurally sound. I'm married to a chiropractor, so yes, that's a cheap plug, because that's one of the things that I do believe in. But you also need to do something. You need to move. You need to exercise. And if you don't use it, you will lose it. So those are my 6 pillars. So you're going to cleanse, replenish, heat the body up, alkalize it, de-stress it, keep it structurally sound and strong. Okay? So I believe that if you do those things on a normal basis, you can't get chronically ill, you know? So that's that. So when you guys are looking at these sheets here, is that eye-opening or what? I thought it was.
Where are those sheets?
Those sheets are right here. And there you go. If you need a pen, I will get that for you. And you don't have one either? There you go. Okay, how many people need pens?
I do.
You do? Okay, so the sheets that I just gave you, it's basically a list of, and I can get you clipboards if you need it. Okay. It's a list of things that are on a normal basis that toxify the body and help it to not work well. There you go. One. And there you go. Anybody else? I have a few more for you. Everybody here. There you go.
Oh, that's okay.
You good? Okay, so, so this is, you can just kind of breeze, you can just kind of breeze through it. But I just wanted you to kind of be aware of what, what's out there and how many different ways you can be assaulted on a daily basis. And then the next page, when you're looking at it, when it says why cleanse, these basically are symptoms that can happen. Is it you hot?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm always hot.
Okay, I'm always cold, so if you'd all sweat to death if it was up to me. So, why cleanse? This basically is a list of symptoms that people have all of the time. And if your body's not working properly, you can have a lot of these symptoms before they even become illnesses. And then when you cleanse the body, a lot of these things just naturally go away, okay? And, so that'll give you a general idea here. Some of the things that I wanna go over, another handout that I have for you is we need to add something to this because I remembered it after I printed them all out. On this sheet that I'm gonna give you, there's a super detox drink that you can make literally for pennies a day. I drink it before they say to drink it before breakfast and lunch. I have a shake for breakfast, so I don't worry about the calories and stuff too much, but my lunch, and if I go home and pick, because I'm here a lot. So when I get home, it's late at night, and I'm starving by the time I get home, so I drink this juice about 20 minutes before I go home, and then when I get there, if I eat, it's gonna help burn fat, it's gonna help detoxify, it's gonna help alkalize the body. So it's a really cool drink. So on here, it's written down as the Super Detox Drink, and it's a combination of 12 to 16 ounces of warm water. I use alkaline water, of course. 1 to 2, and you can start off light if you're not used to eating some of these things and they're gonna be too spicy or something for you. You can start out light. So 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, okay? And then something's crawling on my back. Something is trying to eat me. Let's not do that. I'm not done yet. Then we're gonna do 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I have organic lemon juice that I put in there. Then there's a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I've modified mine a little bit since cinnamon is fat soluble. Does not mix with raw apple cider vinegar and lemon and water real well. So even if you put it in a mason jar and shake the heck out of it, it still kind of floats on the top. So the way that I modified it is to have something that is still very good for you. I put virgin coconut oil in there. So I put a teaspoon of coconut in a bowl, and then I add the powders to it. Then I put it in the jar and mix it up, okay? So the other things that I add are a dash of cayenne pepper and ginger. I put a half a teaspoon of ginger in there, and I also use turmeric, okay? So those are on here. The thing that I left out, stevia, so it doesn't taste so bad. If you put a package of stevia in there, then it tastes really good. Otherwise, it's kind of gnarly. And the stevia is the thing that I left out. So the sweet part is what I left out. So other things that are on this sheet that I'm handing you are foods and herbs that are good for cleansing your liver. And then when we're talking about food again, how many of you guys have heard of the Dirty Dozen? Nobody. Cool. Okay. And the Clean 15? No. Awesome. Okay. So we'll go over that for you. The Dirty Dozen are the 12 most, besides meat, okay, besides meat, the 12 most contaminated fruits and vegetables in the supermarkets. That's all right. So if you're not eating organic and you have to be concerned about your budget for food, there are some that are just toxic as could be, because on average they put about 71 different herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides on our food that's not organic. Okay, so kind of gnarly stuff that's in there. So the things that are on the list, if you look at them, there are things that go bad very easily are on there. Lettuce, apples, peaches, cherries, things that, you know, they don't have a thick skin and stuff on them. Those are a lot of the things that are on the Dirty Dozen list. So if the reason why I printed this out for you is take it to the store with you when you go until you get used to it. And the Dirty Dozen list, stay away from them if you can and buy them organically. The Clean 15, on the other hand, and you'll see a lot of these have thick skins, okay? There's pineapple, there's cantaloupe, there's avocados, there's kiwis, there are all of those things that are on that list. If you have to choose between buying apples organically or pineapples organically, buy the apples organically, because those are way full of pesticides where the pineapples are not, and you're cutting away a lot of the pesticides that were actually sprayed on them, and the skin is thick enough that it doesn't get into the meat of the fruit and the vegetable. Make sense? Okay, so that's what the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 is. And obviously, if you can stay away from regular supermarket meats and go to grass-fed and non-processed meats and stuff, you'll be 1,000% better off. And everybody knows it's full of hormones and grains and everything else, So those are some of the things that I wanted to give you to take home. So your liver cleansing foods, a lot of those, you'll see, are on the bottom list. So they're good foods. The Dirty Dozen they're great foods. They're just highly processed in the fields because you can't make money if they're all rotten before you get them to the store. Okay, so like Big Pharma, it's the Food and Drug Administration. To me, I have a sister-in-law that works for them, so we don't talk business very often because it doesn't turn out well. But I feel like they should be two totally different organizations. They should not be in charge of food that makes you toxic and drugs that make you toxic and try to make you better from what the food did to you. My opinion only. Anybody who works for the FDA, sorry, but I piss my sister-in-law off all the time. So that's what's on the sheets that are here. So these are super simple drinks and stuff that you can make. Obviously, juicing, organic foods and things like that are great for you to do to detoxify. Stay away from fruit juices, just fruit juices, because they're very, very high in sugar, okay? And yeah, they make everything taste better, and I just love watermelon and ginger juice, but there's a lot of watermelon in there to get a glass full of watermelon juice. So when you do juices, do green juices with a little bit of fruit in it, and you'll be okay. But if you're making fresh orange juice, if you're using 3 full oranges to make a glass of orange juice, you just got all of the sugar and all of the calories from 3 full oranges. Would you just sit there and eat 3 oranges right after each other? You wouldn't. So if you go through juicing books and you see fruit juices and you look at how many grams of sugar are in there and how many calories are in there, you're probably not going to drink as much orange juice and things like that. So, but again, food is one of our best friends, but it can be one of our worst enemies also. Okay, one of the other things that I want to give you is these are different kind of supplements that are good. Zeolite, activated charcoal are things that I take on a daily basis. So a lot of the things that I recommend for you guys, I do myself, and so therefore I have them here for my clients. Okay, so if any of these hit well with you and you have a hard time finding them anywhere else, you can always come back up here and get them because I do have them here. So zeolite is a powder, and it's basically a volcanic ash, and usually volcanoes were near oceans. So when the volcanic ash seeps down into the ocean and mixes with sea salts, you get this really fabulous detoxifier. And the molecular structure, to just keep this simple, is toxins are positively charged. Okay, and you would think, wow, that's good. It's positive, it's good. It's not. In the body, it's not. Okay? Negative ionization is what Mother Nature uses outside to cleanse the air and the waterways. And, you know, your showers full of negative ions, a waterfall's full of negative ions, the waves in the beach full of negative ions, thunderstorms, lightning storms, more than thunderstorms, they're full of negative ions. All of those things, if you think about them, when you're doing those things, they make you feel good. So the negative energy from the negative ionization is actually good for the body, okay? So when it says it's a positive charge, you would think, yay, no, just the opposite. Santa Ana winds in California makes everybody real sleepy and tired, positively charged, okay? When you go get tired in your car because your windows are up and your air conditioning's on, your car, the wind coming over your car and all of the friction that's coming into your car is getting trapped inside your car, and it's positively charging you and inside your car. So that's why you get sleepy. And when you open up the windows, you break that and you let in negative ionization, so you wake back up. So negative ionization and negative charges is actually good for the body, not bad. We all got that? Okay. So toxins, almost all toxins are positively charged, right? Zeolites are negatively charged, and the molecular structure of them is like a cage, okay? So just like any other kind of electrical charge, opposites attract, positive and negative, they want to get towards each other, okay? So when you've got toxins in your system, and you've got zeolite in your system, you've got these negatively charged little cages that are empty in your system. And then the positive charge, the toxins that are in the body say, oh, look, negative. And they want to get towards that. Once they get caught in that cage, they don't go back out into your bloodstream, they actually get excreted. And so the positive and the negative gets taken out of the body. So that's the way that zeolite works to help get rid of toxins. So, what does it taste like? How do you do it? I have bags of it here, and I had one that I was going to drink before, and I put it down and I left it in my car. But it's like an ash, it's like a clay. All right, so it's a powder, and you drink about, I put it in about that much warm water. And I take about, you gotta kind of work up to it so you don't get constipation from it. But usually that's not a problem, but for some people it might be. Take a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half, and you can do that up to 2 times a day. This effect of this stays in the body 6 to 8 hours, and then the negative charge is gone again. So that's why when you get later on in the day, you want to replenish it and get rid of all the stuff that's accumulated during the day. Okay? It doesn't have any taste at all, and it does not mix well with water.